Hey V's, I'm Marie from Humblebee Me, and right around now is Humblebee Me's 6th birthday. And I have no idea how 6 years have passed already. That is kind of insane. Sort of in honor of the 6th birthday, I thought I would do a little bit of a Humblebee Me history, because I have had a couple of people sort of asking, like, how did this all get started? So, yeah. When I first started Humblebee Me, it was really just a way to force myself to keep doing things that I enjoyed. So it was super scatterbrained because I enjoy a ton of different things. So early blog posts, there was stuff like, how to make lip balm or a nice hair balm recipe that I actually still really like. But then there was also some stuff like, here's a bunch of pictures of our family dog. And here's a chocolate cake I made, but no recipe. But don't the pictures look pretty? Or like, here's some pancakes I like, but the recipe's not mine, so click here to go get it. So it was very scatterbrained, and I posted an insane 7 times a week, every single day. I have no idea what I was thinking, but I managed to keep that up for several months, sort of as I got my first job out of school and started working, and I would be posting things about like what I'd had for lunch and a neat recipe, and it was just generally very, very scatterbrained. And so that's sort of how Humblebee Me got its start. It was very, very small. I remember being super excited if like I got 20 page views in a day. Very small, very scatterbrained, and just a way to, keep doing the things that I loved. As time went by, I started to realize that 7 days a week was way too much, so I pared it down to 4 days a week. I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday postings, and still pretty scatterbrained. The general theme behind it was stuff that I love and things that people often ask me how to make, like I bind books, and so people would say, how do you bind books? And I'd be like, it's on my blog. So kind of continued on like that for a while, and after about 14 months, I did have a bunch of sort of skincare and body recipes up there, along with like an Indian curry I made and a bunch of other, like, you can go back and look at the post archive and you're like, ah, yes, Marie, I see what you mean. This is very, very scatterbrained. And in about December of sort of the following year, so yeah, sort of a year and a couple months after I had launched, I started getting featured on some Facebook pages for sort of DIY, natural remedy kind of things. And people actually started to kind of pay attention. I mean, it wasn't a lot of people, but it was more people than like my friends. So that was really neat. And that started to gain some momentum, and people started to actually read my website. And I noticed as time went on that people were a lot more interested in the DIY skincare stuff. And honestly, so was I. So as time went on, I narrowed the focus and started dropping things like dog photos and historical costuming and hairstyles, and kind of narrowed it down to just sort of DIY skincare and sort of creative pursuits of that variety and cooking. I sort of continued on as such, and then eventually honed it down to 2 posts a week and decided that I was just going to do DIY skincare and cosmetics because nobody really cared about the food posts. They're all still there if you want to go look at them, and honestly, I do think there's some good content there, but I don't know, being a food blogger really wasn't where my heart was at, and it's really not what my audience was interested in, and so I started focusing 100% on DIY skincare and cosmetics, and I also dropped down to 2 posts a week at this point in time, so that's every Monday and Thursday, which is where I'm still at, because even 4 times a week was starting to get to be kind of insane, especially now that people were actually visiting my website and leaving comments and sending me emails. And so I actually had to split my time between other things that had to do with my blog that weren't just like, I'm making things. Sometime after, I pared my posts down to 2 times a week and really started focusing just on DIY skincare and cosmetics. One of my readers got in touch with me, and she was a published author, and she thought that I should write a book and that I should meet her literary agent. And I will be forever grateful to this absolutely lovely lady for making this introduction and for seeing that in me. So I did meet her agent, and her agent became my agent. Her name is Kate, and she is based out of Brooklyn, and she is absolutely lovely. And I get a lot of questions about like, how do you get a book published? And the only thing I know is the literary agent route, and that's the way I went, and it was absolutely lovely. Kate's experience and insight and encouragement was absolutely invaluable as we developed the proposal for what became Make It Up together, and having somebody, in my corner and somebody I can just kind of bounce ideas off and ask questions has been absolutely wonderful. So that's really all I know about publishing is if you have an agent who is absolutely wonderful, that is absolutely invaluable. But we worked together to create a book proposal for Make It Up, and sort of keep in mind that at this point in time I am still working full time. I'm still posting on the blog 2 times a week because I'm insane apparently. And it actually took a lot longer than it should have. And sort of in hindsight, I think this is because I was afraid it was going to fail. I was afraid that I was going to develop a book proposal and that we were going to send it out into the great wide world and no one would want it and I would feel like I had failed. So I procrastinated like a champ. I'm very good at procrastinating when I want to be. It's amazing, really, truly, how long I can not do something. Now, of course, I did eventually finish my book proposal, and that went out into the world with Kate's guidance, and we spoke to a couple different publishers and eventually accepted an offer from Running Press out of Philadelphia. And that's when I met Cindy, who is my absolutely wonderful, encouraging, lovely editor, and Amanda, who designed Make It Up. And then I was sort of just like sent out to write a book, which was amazing, right? Like the ultimate test of one's project management skills, really, because it was just sort of like, here's your deadline, April 1st. At this point in time, we would like a manuscript and we would like some pictures, and somewhere in there we'd like sort of a sample chapter, but really like just at this point in time, you should be done, and not a lot of guidance in between there. It's a giant self-guided project, and it was amazing. I had so much fun just being completely obsessed with makeup for about the 6 months that I was writing the book, testing things and like running into the bathroom at work and checking like, oh, how's my eye makeup doing? And like wearing things to yoga class and then coming out of yoga and be like, all right, stands up through hot yoga, check, haha. Like, oh, it was so much fun. And this is about the time when because I was taking the pictures for my book, if you kind of look back at the blog, it's sort of around like Christmas time of 2015, early 2016, you start to notice that my pictures start to get a lot better because I got a better camera, because I needed more resolution for print, and I got lights, so I didn't have to only shoot in parts of my house near windows and during the day, which between like October and April is really not very long. Calgary is a very dark place at that time of year. And I got fun surfaces to take pictures on and like props and old wood and dried herbs and I had so much fun. I went to Home Depot and was just like buying single tiles. It was great. It was such a fun time. And in January of 2016, I flew to Philadelphia to do a photo shoot for the book. We hired a couple models and then I was one of the models. And Michael took some absolutely stunning pictures of these beautiful women that we were working with, really showcasing how the makeup works, and that was just that was so cool. That was so much fun. And then I submitted my manuscript on April 1st, and that was nowhere near as like woo as I was expecting it to be. It was just sort of like send. I guess I'll go have ice cream for dinner. Shortly after I finished my book, I got laid off. I mean, like a week after I finished my manuscript. I wrote my entire manuscript while having a full-time job, and then I got laid off a week afterwards. Great timing. I decided to seize that opportunity to see if I could kind of make this Humblebee and Me thing like a bigger part of my life, because I was having so much fun and I sort of was hoping I was seeing an opportunity to make this a bigger part of my life. And fortunately, as a graphic designer, my ability to take on freelance work in sort of varying amounts is also pretty good. So I wasn't too worried. I was definitely worried, but I wasn't like too worried. And so you can really start to see, starting in about like last April, May, how I suddenly had way more time to devote to Humblebee and Me. So you'll start to see like that's when the YouTube channel sort of started to bubble up and come into existence. I started a forum, so if you want to sign up for the Humblebee and Me forum, you can. Just make sure my mailing's first, because that's how I filter out spammers, because there's so many spammers. You can unsubscribe as soon as you want, once your account is approved. And then what else? I signed up for better emails. So I now use MailChimp instead of just kind of the default WordPress thing, which just like fires out an email to people whenever a new post goes live. So now I can sort of send you smart emails and be like, well, here's some related posts and here's like an associated video that you might enjoy. And then MailChimp also allowed me to launch my DIY skincare for beginners course, which I'm really proud of. It's completely free and completely automated. You sign up for my mailing list and then it arrives, and it arrives in pieces. So you get a shopping list, and then you get 6 different projects that you do over the course of several weeks, and they sort of guide you through sort of some beginner projects, and then you start learning a little bit more and get more confident. And I'm so proud of it, and every email has a free downloadable PDF sort of recipe workbook and a video to walk you through everything so you feel super, super confident in all the things that you're making, and you can kind of finish the course and be like, yeah, okay, great. Like, I understand a bunch of basic concepts and I can't wait to learn more. So if you want to sign up for that, if you're not already on my mailing list, the link is in the description box below, and I think it's pretty darn groovy. Make It Up came out at the end of last year, December 27th, 2016, and that was really exciting to sort of get pictures from people who had my book and they'd bought my book and they had a physical copy and they're showing pictures of it in their kitchens with the things that they were making. Oh, so exciting. And sort of as the year has gone on, I've been just working on like learning a lot more, making more stuff, making more messes. I've started doing Humblebee and Me meetups when I travel. And so I've done one in Quebec City and one in Montreal. And I know sort of coming up, I'm going to both Vancouver and New York in October. And so I definitely want to do Humblebee and Me meetups there if there's any interest. And I know I'm going to Australia next year, so I definitely want to do some there. I'm not sure where I'm going completely, but I know Sydney because that's where my plane lands. So I'd love to do some meetups there. If you're interested in coming out to a Humblebee and Me meetup and meeting, I mean, like, me, whatever. But I want you to meet a bunch of other people who live in your city who also love to do this so that you can have real life friends who like making stuff, because that's amazing and they're kind of hard to find. So you could like share shipping costs on orders from places that aren't in your country, and it's just like, oh! So I love the Humblebee and Me meetups. They're so fun and invigorating and just like, yeah, I want friends! So if you are interested in a Humblebee and Me meetup, please make sure you're following Humblebee and Me on Facebook, because Facebook gives me the ability to send out geographically targeted posts. So I can sort of just target within like 50 kilometers of Vancouver and be like, hey Vancouver, sup, I'm coming your way. Anybody want to just like have coffee and talk about like iron oxides? Well, I feel like that brings us to sort of more or less now-ish. I'm still publishing 2 blog posts a week, and now I'm also doing 2 videos a week. So the blogs go out on Monday and Thursday, and the videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, unless, of course, the video is sort of a tandem release with a blog, in which case I sort of bump it up so they'll both come out on the Monday or on the Thursday. So I guess what next? I don't know. I don't feel like I ever actually planned this terribly, terribly well. I would love to write another book, and I've sort of been chatting with my agent about that. I definitely want to travel more and do more Humblebee and Me meetups. I just want to keep continuing to learn and to play. At this point in time, I'm starting to think about fall and Christmas and winter themed DIY projects, definitely thinking a lot about gifts and gift sets and the different types of projects that I can create and share with you, so that if you want to have like a thoroughly DIY holiday or winter, I've got a ton of options for you. Thank you so much to everybody who has ever watched a video or left a comment or made something with me and let me know how it turned out and bought my book and sent me pictures of the things that you've created and shared this excitement with me. I also want to extend a huge thank you to my patrons on Patreon who support me in a, concrete monetary way, which I appreciate so much, because Humblebee and Me is not an inexpensive endeavor, unfortunately. So I appreciate you helping me keep it online and, keep me from not needing to go out and get a full-time job so much. Just thank you. I think I appreciate all of you more than I think you can ever know. So thank you so much for letting this be such a big part of my life. And if you want to further support me, I would really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon page. Even a couple dollars a month makes a pretty big difference, and there are sort of exclusive updates and content for patrons there. But again, thank you so much. It's been an amazing 6 years, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. See you next time.